everybody, and welcome back to another episode of From BA to Broadway, your premier showbiz education podcast. You know who it is. It's me. It's Mr. Brennan Stefanik, your host, and I'm bringing you some general programming reminders. Folks, every Monday we are here with the main episodes, and every Friday we are here with our miniseries In the Spotlight, but that's enough about that, and that is not why we're here. Folks, today I am joined by a very special guest. You may know her from the Broadway and other various mediums. It is Ms. Emma Pittman. Emma, what is going on?
I've never been more honored to be somewhere
than
right here in real life with you.
That might say a little bit more about you than it does about me, but I appreciate it one way or the other. Emma, who the heck are you and what do you do?
My name is Emma, and I am currently a Broadway performer, which is very exciting.
So true.
I'm playing Cherry Valance in The Outsiders on Broadway.
Hell yeah, Tony Award-winning musical. There you go.
I'm so excited.
Emma, question number 2 is usually, how do we know each other? But we kind of don't.
I was like, we just met, which is kind of exciting. Did. But why don't we dive into how you know Ellie? Because I know Ellie, who was one of your most recent podcast guests, Ellie Handel.
Indeed.
And she was a director of a show called Aussie Song, which she cast me in. And we became like immediate creative besties.
Love.
Now, I need to know how. Do you know?
I mean, I met Ellie through my roommate, Mr. Daniel Solly.
That's right.
Yes. We became friends a couple of years ago through another friend. And one thing led to another. And then I was just around his groups of people. And the rest is history. That is how Ellie came into being. We just spent Memorial Day together yesterday.
What'd you guys do?
We all went to the Baylander, which I've never been to before.
I love the Baylander.
It was so much fun.
It's so nice. You've got the breeze from the water. You're having a little cocktail. The DJ's amazing.
And those cocktails, they did something.
They'll get the job
done. We were there
done.
for 6 hours, truly. We walked down from here. We just had a lovely walk along the Hudson, and then we got there and we spent the rest of the day there. And
That's
it was
a long walk, girl.
It was.
That's like 100 blocks.
It was like a 4-mile walk,
right?
But it was kind of lovely. I've been here for 5 years-ish now, and I'd never really been to Riverside Park down on the central side of it. So that was also just so nice. I was like, I have been missing out. What a good place to come and sit with a book, or literally to tan in the summer or whatever.
It's truly one of my favorite parks of New York City. The whole West Side Highway is so beautiful. It's got so many fun little activities along the way too.
Exactly.
You could pick a little piece of green to lay and have a tan, or you could also go to have you ever been to the Little Island?
I have not been to Little Island yet.
It's very chic. I was a hater.
Okay.
I was a hater at first. I'll be honest.
Okay.
When I saw that it was in development, I was like, now what is this? This is just feels like a waste of money.
Heard.
But it's very chic. There's many music venues and live performance venues. There's great food trucks. It's
okay, that's
chic.
fun.
It's a fun time.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going on the list. It's going on the summer list.
I have to see the Baylander as well. That's also on my list for this summer.
Oh, okay, good. I think I will be there frequently. I think that is going to become a frequent thing for me, especially in those nice summer days. But you know what, Emma, you are going to be our guinea pig for something. For the folks that I bring on that I don't actually know, I am I need a nice way to get to know them fast. I need to know who they are. I need to know who I'm talking to in my own space,
Yeah.
Who am I letting into my space to do this? And so if you consent to it, you will be the first guest on the Get to Know You speed round.
Oh my gosh. I'm ready.
Okay. It's going to be immediate instinct. I'm going to start with the nice superficial and probe into what makes you you as a human.
I'm ready.
Do you feel prepared for this?
Yes.
Okay, we're putting 60 seconds on the clock.
Okay. Oh, there it is. It's huge. Yes.
Okay, here we go. Number 1, favorite color.
Blue.
Okay, number 2, cookie or brownie?
Brownie.
Okay, number 3, flavored or regular lemonade?
Ooh, controversially, hate lemonade altogether.
Whoa!
I know. I hate it about me.
Okay, interesting. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Favorite genre of music?
I think I had to say R&B.
Okay, lovely. Best way to break up with someone?
In person.
Okay.
In a pouring rain situation.
Wow.
Big drama.
Of course. Really
Lots
set the
of
scene.
clarity in the text, in what you're saying.
Yeah.
But in person for sure.
Yeah, wow, love that. What brings you joy at the moment?
The sun.
Lovely.
It's raining so much in New York City, and anytime the sun comes out, I have a smile.
Heard. Okay, and then favorite boy band of all time?
I want to say One Direction, which is kind of shocking.
That was your first answer. That's going to be the one.
And that's we did it with 60 seconds to spare. Perfect.
We just made it just by the hair of our chinny chin chins. I know you so well now.
Wow,
that
One
was
Direction.
the first ever get to know you speed round. Yeah, that's a shock to you, it sounds like.
It's a shock to me because One Direction is my sister's favorite boy band.
Oh, okay.
And so I think it was just like, what did I see the most growing up? But I was a huge Jonas Brothers fan.
Okay, see, that's my answer.
Do you know what
Jonas
I mean?
Brothers
like I think that was just like a knee-jerk reaction because there was a cardboard cutout of Harry Styles in our house.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like that's like deep in my memories.
That feels like it would psychologically imprint in some way, shape, or form.
It was like I had to say it or otherwise that cardboard cutout of Harry Styles was going to make its way into my dressing room and I would have a horrible show. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, there's worse ways to go, though, is all I'm saying.
Haunted by Harry Styles.
Emma, did you go to school for theater?
I did.
Okay.
I got a BA.
Whoa!
From Wagner.
Oh my God.
I know. When I saw your podcast name, I was like, yes.
Yeah. What year did you graduate?
2018.
2018. Do you know Ryan McConville?
Well, yes.
Okay.
He was a year older than me.
Yeah.
Question mark.
One of my best friends in this world. Yeah.
Yes.
How did it all get started for you?
Oh my gosh.
Where did theater come in? Did you have an artistic upbringing? Also, where are you from?
I'm from Mississippi.
Whoa.
I know. Super random. Most people don't know anyone from Mississippi because it's kind of...
Honestly, kind of true.
Yeah.
Now that you said that and I said, surely I must know someone. Can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
I think I know like 2 other Mississippi people who live and work in the industry here in New York City.
Wow.
Too.
Okay. Crazy.
That I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I grew up in Mississippi. I grew up about an hour south of Memphis, Tennessee. So it's the north part of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents did such a great job of kind of getting me and my siblings involved in a little bit of everything when we were young. I mean, I played soccer. I was in the band. I played piano. I did dance. And then like as I got older and older, I started to just really hone in on the dance. I was like, I had so much fun doing it. And I liked something, like I really loved something about it, but I couldn't figure out what exactly it was. I wasn't ever like super excited about the big flashy numbers with a lot of like high kicks or big tricks. I was like, no, but like what I like it when it makes you feel something. I remember we did a dance to, Hide and Seek. Okay, the song that Jason Derulo sampled in his...
Understood.
Right.
Okay.
The original, like, just super, like, layers and layers of the vocal layering on it. So delicious. The whole song is amazing. But we did a dance to that, and it was, like, all of us girlies in, like, white button-ups.
Love.
A classic contemporary look. And we had one guy in our company. His name is Novi, and he went on to be on So You Can Dance and is like one of the most amazing dancers of all time. He lives in LA. But anyway, we did this piece and we used doors with mirrors and we had like, they were like spinning around and we told this story about like a breakup and the kind of complicated parts about when you see them afterwards and you still feel something, but it's not really like you're not technically together, but it feels good. And so we used the doors to like create like little traps for them to be in. And then we'd spin around and one of them was gone. And I was just like, this is the best thing I've ever heard.
I love that.
It's giving theater. But I didn't really know until I got into high school. My mom and dad went to New York somewhere in the like early-ish 2000s and came home with the trifecta of soundtracks.
Okay.
Which I burned a hole through.
Love.
Wicked.
Of course.
Rent.
Of course.
Hairspray.
Okay.
That is my holy trinity of musical theater. And I think the first time I ever saw a musical, technically I was 4, and we left after the first number because the Beast was really scary. I was like, I don't care if he turns into a man in the end.
I know the story, but I can't be in the same room.
No.
Wow.
It was terrifying.
Okay.
Excellent costume design, obviously. Excellent,
apparently.
Mask and wig work. But I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Heard.
But then I knew about theater, like growing up listening to the music and knowing that I loved acting out all the parts. I was Glinda and I was Elphaba.
I mean,
of course.
Yeah.
And so when we changed high schools to a new school that had a theater program, and I was like, you know what? Let me give it a try.
Yeah.
You don't know. It could be fun. And so we were doing The Wizard of Oz, and I auditioned for the Jitterbug. We were doing like a big dance call, and the choreographer was explaining the movement as like intention, like why you're doing the dance step to make Dorothy go to sleep. Okay, and then this dance step is to make the lion do, and I was just like eating it up. I mean, the plate was clean by the time I finished that audition because I loved thinking about dance as a reason to tell a story.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's what I like about dance.
Wow. Okay. I love
And so
that.
then I kind of like shifted all of my focus in my high school career to just learning everything about theater because I was like, oh my God, this is it for me. I knew that I loved dance, but I didn't ever consider myself like someone who was going to be like a concert dancer.
Yeah.
But I knew that I liked art. Like I knew I wasn't going to do a job that wasn't in the art. So I was like still figuring it out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to learn everything. And our theater program creator, John Davenport, at the high school that I went to, has created one of the most like thoughtful and educational pieces of a program. Like you start doing all this kind of busy work when you're a freshman to, you know, weed out people who are like just taking it for the credit. And then the next year you're doing like tech. Like the second year is all building the sets, going into warehouses where we have lots of costumes, pulling things out for shows. Yeah, like full on tech side.
Yeah.
And then the junior year is the acting class, to which the seniors are the directors.
Oh, okay.
And so then once you graduate from being an actor, you then are on the other side of the table.
Heard.
So he's just like, he made us learn all aspects of what it means to put on a show. And that was definitely like, I was just so excited to be a sponge in that way, to learn all of everything that I could.
That's so cool, and also just so important to, from that early on, like be taught how to be like a collaborator, you know?
1,000%. I mean, by the time I graduated high school, I got to like choreograph a show. I got to run a light board for a show. I got to hang lights like on the catwalk.
Terrifying.
Yes, but it's like so important. I mean, yeah. Like makes you value and respect all of the pieces that go into making a show happen. Yeah, so that was kind of the moment that I was like, oh, yeah, I'll be doing this. Was kind of that 9th grade Wizard of Oz year.
Heard.
Yeah.
Was there a pressure to go to college first of all, was there a pressure to go to college, and did you kind of know it was going to be for theater?
I think that there was 2 options in my mind. I knew I wanted to go to New York.
Yep.
That was huge for me. We went to New York as a dance studio when I was little, like maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, took classes at BDC, saw my first Broadway show, which I found out Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was one of the, like, 4 shows we saw.
Okay.
Robin Herder was in the original Broadway cast. And she's across the street from me. Like, crazy. Anywho, we came up to New York, and I remember going into, like, a bodega or something, and no one knew who I was.
Yeah.
My parents, when I was growing up in this really small town, before we moved to the bigger town with the theater program, my parents were both lawyers in a teeny tiny town. So everybody knew who we were. We had like an office in our small town square. And it just kind of always felt like someone had eyes on you. Someone knew your parents. Someone knew you when you were just this big. And, you know, and I loved the idea that nobody knew who I was walking into a deli. And I was like, this is my dream, to wake up every day and be whoever I want to be and not worrying about like the pressure of what eyes or whose eyes.
Really?
Girl,
Yeah.
I was like, and I'll be going to New York City.
Yeah.
So it was either go to school in New York or graduate from high school and just start taking class. Like find some classes to get into, find, you know, hopefully a mentor and just train.
Yeah.
Because I also knew I was late to the game. I feel like in training.
For sure.
Even though I had been dancing since I was 2, we didn't have the best ballet training in my dance studio. We even had a teacher leave when I was young, and then we had no ballet for like years. So the technique was not there,
Understood.
But the passion was there.
Yeah.
And that was
yeah. Of course. That's awesome. That's really awesome. So you did end up ultimately deciding to go to school for theater.
Yeah. So this is the part of the podcast where I'm going to say, do as I say, not as I did.
Really get vulnerable here.
Okay.
Really lay it all out for us.
Because I'm from Mississippi. And therefore, like, access to theater, access to art, it's giving limited. Okay.
Yeah.
And therefore, I didn't really know you were supposed to audition at, like, a lot of places.
Heard.
That I didn't know.
Yeah. I mean, how are you to know?
No.
How are you to know?
And so I just did what, like, anybody who's normal would do. Like, I would never have considered myself someone who, like, did theater in high school. I was just like, theater school in New York. I already knew I was thinking of NYU because that's what everyone says in any movie about theater. It's like, well, she went to NYU. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's that school. Yeah. It's that girl. And so I was like, okay, let's look at NYU. Mm-hmm. And then I looked up, schools in New York, and Marymount came up. Mm-hmm. Has one of the biggest dance studios in Manhattan. Really cool. I was like, all right, I'll check that out. And then by some weird, friend of a friend of a friend's friend's cousin, somebody's kid went to Wagner at one point years ago. They were like, I think they have a good program. You guys should check it out while you're up there. I was like, okay. So those are my 3 schools. Okay. My mom and I came to New York. We toured Marymount, and it was really, really small. And I was like, I just came from a small... Yeah. Living in a small town, growing up, I knew I want to give a little bit bigger. Mm-hmm. I went to NYU. I went to if you're thinking about coming here type seminar. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm not good enough to get in here. I knew it. I just knew that I had potential, but it wasn't enough talent to get me in. I just knew it. I was like, it's kind of giving Prodigy. It's kind of giving you got to already have a nice layer of training underneath you and the drive to work. For sure. To learn. And I was like, I have the drive, but I don't have the years under my belt. Understood. And so then we went to Wagner, which is on Staten Island. It's a super small-ish BA program, and you have to take the ferry over, so you get to wave at the Statue of Liberty on the way in. And they have a free shuttle from there to the school. And fun fact about Wagner, it is the School of Rock. I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? If you've ever seen the movie. I mean, of course I've seen the movie. School of Rock. You know how he drives up in that van in this stunning building? That's Wagner College. Shut up. Yes, no way. Girl. That's wild. Insane. Okay. It's such a cool historic place. Yeah. The buildings, that building specifically, Main Hall, is just so iconic. It feels a little magical. It feels like I liked that it felt like a real college campus. Yeah, there was greenery. We had a football team. We had a dance team. We had sororities. But it was on a much smaller scale, and I knew the program was good. Gotcha. There was something about just being there that I was like, yeah, I think I want to go here. Yeah, I think this is the place. So I only auditioned there. And this is where I would say, don't do that. I mean, yeah. That's not a great idea. Hindsight is 20/20. Amen. Okay. We know things now that we didn't know before. And that's exactly. I was excited and scared, which is true. Yeah. But I was like, either I get in here or I just move to New York. That was my plan. Yeah. And thankfully, I got in. For sure. Thankfully, they wanted me, and I went to school there, and I had a really, really great time. Okay. Yeah. Did you feel like, because you, especially after the NYU realization, were you like, oh, I need to hone in on these things that I feel weaker at? Or did you feel like you had the self-assessment ability at that point in time to be like, okay, I might not be that great at this kind of thing? 1,000%. Heard. And I think about that a lot because I'm like, hey, why was I able to do that? I have no idea. I mean, that's hard. I mean, you're also at this age where it's all of a sudden you're told that you need to know who you are and then how to go forward with the rest of your life and whatever your choices. Yeah. It was really kooky, but I just, for whatever reason, I was able to look at myself kind of I'm going to say a product, and okay. I'm going to explain a little bit about that. Yeah, go for it. After listening to you and Ellie's thing, what you guys were talking about on that podcast, which is we are a brand, really. And I thought whenever I auditioned at Wagner, I was like, I remember having my game face on. Mm-hmm. I was taking voice lessons for the first time ever to audition to be in the school. Heard. Okay. What was that? And I had picked 2 songs that were both really hard, and I shouldn't have sung them. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I just have to show them that I can carry a tune. Yeah. And I remember this girl who ended up being my roommate was the first person to sing, and she was acting. And I remember being like, oh my God, I forgot. I have to act in this song. I forgot. Oh my God. Okay. So thankfully I had 8 more people in front of me thinking about okay, who am I? What am I saying? What's the point of the song? And I tried, but it was okay. It was if I could rank my audition in that moment, I would say it was a solid 4 out of 10. Okay. Then we go into the dance room, and I said, I know I can do this. There you go. I've been doing this since I was 2. I'm just going to show up. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, I'm going to show them what I know that I can bring to the room. Totally. Which is the key to auditioning, I think. It's just knowing what you're going to rock, girl. Exactly. I slapped my hair up in a black pony, red lip, black leotard. I walked in, I was like, I'm that girl. Let's go.
Gotcha. Wow, okay.
Dance down, and I feel like solid 8, 9. I ate that combo up. Then we went to the acting portion, and I was like, I feel naturally like I'm a pretty good storyteller, like I'm a pretty good actor. And I did the monologue from Company where it's the girl who sings Another 100 People, and she's like talking about New York City and drinking lots of coffee. And I remember getting a note and taking the note well, and I was like, I felt like that was enough. Now I know, like, they know where I am, and I know where I need to go from here. And I had great professors at Wagner who were just kind of real with me. And it was never, I'm very grateful to say that I never felt like it was like from a judgmental perspective. It was not, it didn't make me feel bad about myself. I would do that to myself because I think as performers, we do that sometimes.
I mean, yeah, naturally.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Just reminding everyone.
I mean, as a performer, I think across the board, something that we all crave is validation. And that kind of validation is not something we will ever let ourselves give ourselves, you know? So, I mean, it makes sense.
But I feel like I did what I could to get myself into classes or into projects that like stretched part of me that I felt like was like afraid to be stretched.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I had a really good time figuring out the things that I needed to work on while struggling with the confidence of knowing like, yes, you can still try these things that make you feel scared or like you're not very good because that's the point. That's literally the point, girl. That's why we're in collage.
For sure.
That's why we're in collage, to learn.
To learn.
Okay.
And that's also very hard to remember because then you enter these spaces that are naturally egotistical. You know, it is naturally egotistical, filled with egotistical people because that's who we are, you know, in all sorts of different ways, both good and bad.
Correct.
And then it's like, oh, now I have to prove myself not only to myself, but also to everyone else, you know? Correct. Never mind actually spend time doing the learning, you know? And you never really put together that's like, oh, wait, maybe the learning is the pathway to me being good. Maybe
what was that? Right.
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Truly.
And I think theater education is so tough in that way. Like, there are so many layers of like the self that you have to go through to get to like the most honest version of yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
And then when you can really look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, I love you and you're bad at this.
For sure.
And that's okay.
For sure.
Do we want to focus on getting better at it?
Yeah.
Or do we want to hone in on something else and get better at that? Because
100%.
It's also a negotiation with yourself as an artist.
Totally.
I think when you're learning new things, finding that you're not good at something is only information as to who you are as an artist.
Exactly.
And if you are not interested in pursuing it more than what you just learned in that like one segment or one class, guess what? You don't have to.
No.
You can literally not, girl.
No.
You can choose that. You can decide who you want to be.
That's also just life, too, you know? There's so much, especially like high school and stuff, there's so much pressure to be like, you need to do well in all of these things because it's going to be so important when you're outside of this building. And then you're like, I want to go to school for theater. And then it's like, okay, well then.
So you agree.
Never mind, I guess.
Correct.
You know, I'm not out here needing the Pythagorean theorem.
No, I'll never forget. I was in high school and everybody took 2 years of a language. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. I would prefer to take something else in this time. And they were like, oh, you technically don't have to do it. And I was like, so then why does everyone do it?
Yeah.
Turns out it was a prereq for the college in the town that we grew up in. And I said,
oh my God.
Okay, well, it's not for the college that I want to go to.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take that.
That's wild. Interesting.
Kooky.
Yeah.
Anywho.
I did have to take 4 levels of a foreign language.
4?
In
Sorry,
college.
I'm yelling. 4?
In college, yeah.
What was your language?
I chose Spanish because I had taken some Spanish in high school. Did I remember any of it? I learned, no, I did not.
Okay.
And our Spanish program was really bad and really hard. And by the end, I started taking the 4th level online.
Oh.
Right as they announced, they were like, we're going to rework the structure of the program because it seems like it's too hard. So we're going to take everything that you do in 1 and 2 and stretch it out over 4 levels. And I was like, oh my God, amazing. So like I've already done that. You know, like I've already done 1 and 2. I actually did really well in those. Like,
I'm good.
I'm good, right? And they're like, no, actually, you still need to pay the money to take the class for number 4.
What was that?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I was
not.
like, okay, so it's just you just want my money, and they were like, yeah, absolutely. And it was like, I guess I'm gonna cheat in a summer online program,
and you know what?
That's what I did. That's what I did.
Oh.
Solid C-. Come
on. All we have to do is pass.
That's exactly right.
All we have to do is pass.
And you know what? I have that degree now. Literally. I do wish I did know Spanish better. That is something in my daily life that I'm always like, I wish I had actually been able to be good at that.
I feel the same exact way. Spanish is literally more important than English in America, I think. Sure. We use, everybody uses it.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody everywhere.
And even in like my little bullshit survival jobs that I do, whenever I'm like, okay, I can interact with people like on a base level. And they're like, do you speak Spanish? And I'm like, a little bit. And then they like start speaking at a basic level. And I'm like, I can't keep up. I need you to slow down. I would love to be able to help you, but I simply, no.
I actually was lying. I thought I could do it, but it's
for sure. And it's funny because in reflection, I'm not like, wow, I wish I had paid more attention in Spanish class. I don't. I simply don't. I didn't have the brain space for it. I didn't,
correct.
Truly. I'm like, wow, I wish it was just around more readily.
No, correct.
Since my youth.
Since we were like children, like learn it and give it to us in like kindergarten, first grade.
Yeah, just a little bit. Keep on going and
toss them in.
Yeah. No. Oh well. Here we are.
Take notes, American education. That's what we think.
Yeah. Literally. Literally. But you know what? I'm not a teacher, so who am I to say?
I like to teach.
I mean, I guess I am an educator, and
Thank you.
I minored in education,
See,
but like,
so
yeah, I gave it a shot. I was like, you know what? Is this something I actually want to do, or is this something everyone told me I need to have a plan B for?
And let's talk about plan B.
Let's do it.
Okay, it's, I'm sorry, but no.
No.
There, I said it.
If you have a plan B, you are already giving up on plan A.
I just feel like you're not giving yourself to give your full self to this thing that is, it could be, I mean, assuming you're going for it, it's a dream in some way.
For sure.
Right? I feel like doing and pursuing any type of avenue of doing the arts is a leap of faith. And like, you gotta dive in.
100%.
Okay, you gotta put your whole everything into that.
Mm-hmm.
And like even what you're just saying about the Spanish class, like you didn't have the space for that.
I didn't. I didn't have the mental space
for that.
No.
And what is this only going to cloud your mind and also give you doubt? Let's talk about that. Having the idea that, oh, well, I just have this thing in the back. It's one thing if you're passionate about the thing in the back, okay?
Totally.
If you want to go to school and you also want to get like a psych minor, fierce, girl.
Sick. Awesome.
Do it. I love it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's excellent because if you care about it, that's one thing.
Exactly.
But if you're doing it because you have a family member or like a mentor who's like, don't listen to them.
No.
What are they doing? Respectfully. What's that quote that's like, I don't hold any power over people's judgment that I don't respect or their work?
Oh, I love that.
I forget, my best friend Colton heard it on a podcast and I saw it recently while I was scrolling through on TikTok and I was like, no, and let's talk about that more. If people have something to say about you and your life choices, your job choices, your career, and you don't respect what they do with their life and their career, that should hold zero weight when it comes. It should go through your ear and out the other.
Really. It really, and I'm like, I just watched like all people growing up have like two literal separate lives where they go to their job that they're miserable at and they're like, they get home and they're like, wow, thank God I'm no longer at my job that I'm miserable at. And I'm like, that's so boring, you know?
So sad.
Because then you have 5 hours left in the day and then you're going to go to bed and then you're going to get up and you're going to go back to doing that thing that makes you miserable. I'm like, that's like 5 hours a day for yourself at all times in life. And that is just not it.
And you could just link like all health issues, like drinking problems to that unhappiness. Easy. Because when you get out of a job that you don't hate, and I'm not saying that as an artist, we don't do jobs we hate.
Oh my God!
Okay,
of course, it's part of it. We do like, jobs that we hate, so
eventually, we can survive.
Yeah,
yes, correct,
exactly.
But like, it's to choose to do that over and over and over and over again. It's going to make you want to do is like escape the life that you live, which is why you search for drugs or food or drink, and then you're unhappy all the time. It's such a gift to feel. I think,
like literally
just be alive.
To feel for myself and for others which is like a crazy concept to so many people nowadays. Where I'm like, are we joking? Like, I don't know.
Literally, are we joking?
Come on, whatever.
I talked to a psychiatrist once who's a new friend of mine, and I was like, I have to get your opinion on empathy, and she said, tell me. I said, is empathy something that you're born with, or is it something you learn? And she said, okay. Empathy is technically something some people are born with, and you can teach it to people who aren't born with it, but getting them to practice empathy is the hardest part.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really fascinating to me because I'm a very, very empathetic person.
Of course.
Sometimes it hurts.
I mean, listen, I'm right there with you,
Okay.
girl. I'm right there
I feel
with
like
you.
as artists, we're like naturally super
Yeah.
empathetic people. But I have worked with people in my life or just gotten to know people that I'm like, what do you mean you don't feel how this person is feeling? Or you're watching a movie and you're not like experiencing. I remember once watching Coco with a handful of friends.
Oh my God.
And one guy didn't cry. And I was like, are you okay?
You're sick.
What
What is wrong with you?
What happened? Who hurt you?
Literally.
Okay, but it was fascinating to learn, like, some people genuinely, they're not born with it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Maybelline, okay? They don't have the empathy card in their DNA, but they're able to learn it.
Yeah.
They are able to understand it, but to actually put it into practice is really tough. And I think it takes care from the person who is trying to implement it into their life. And that's a lot of time.
For sure.
That's a lot of time to put into remembering to care about others.
Yeah. And it's always those people too that are the ones that are like, oh, why are we doing all these things with anger and violence? Why don't we just practice love? And it's like, you're just quote unquote practicing love, so you don't have to do anything.
Thank you, quote unquote. No, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's truly like, oh, okay, practice your love. By the way, what is that done?
P.S. How are you actually practicing it?
Exactly.
I would love to see the receipts. I would love to see your time in the rehearsal studio and how much it cost for you to practice.
Like, it's so funny because you practicing love kind of looks like hate.
No,
crazy.
So real.
But I digress.
I
Anyways,
digress. Yes.
Theater.
Circling back. Theater, BA.
So we go to college for theater, and then we get ready to enter the professional world. Are we auditioning for like summer stock and stuff during the summers?
Yes, that was something I loved about being at Wagner is we could just pop on the ferry, pop into New York. I was looking through my Snapchat memories.
Wow.
What was that? And I saw a video of me and some of my friends like camped outside Pearl at 8 a.m, like
oh my God.
cold with our jackets and our scarves, and it's, January or February, whatever, getting ready to be seen for like McCaden or something. Like we were there. We were there. We were sad. I've done it. It's exhausting, but it's so fun.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I was very grateful to be auditioning for things. I worked my sophomore summer into junior year and my junior year into senior year. And then I auditioned for a tour of Legally Blonde that had already been going around.
Yeah.
And they had a leg in Singapore that was really short. And they just needed a couple of people for roles of people that they couldn't take with them. And I ended up getting it, which was super exciting.
Dang.
And I actually got to graduate from college in Singapore.
Oh, wow.
Because it was like right as the school year ended.
Yeah,
that was amazing. And then I had auditioned for, also during that time, I had auditioned for a cruise ship. I auditioned for Celebrity Cruises. And they offered me a job, but it didn't start until August,
Gotcha.
I think. Yeah. Whenever I'm like thinking, I remember my senior year, we had to do a thesis about like your 5-year plan. And my first thing was like, I want to work on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
That is the best way for me that I saw in that moment to make money, save money, and travel the world, make new friends, work on your craft. Like, even though you're doing the same thing over and over again, I mean, you're learning something.
Yeah.
Always. It's the same thing with an 8-show week. Like, just because they're doing the same show every single night doesn't mean that there aren't new variables and new opportunities to learn and make it new. But yeah, to save that money and to have like a financial pillow to lay your head on when you come back to the city, it is a game changer.
For sure.
I was so grateful to move to New York City after that and not feel like stressed about finding a job or even like finding an apartment. Like, I was like, I know what my budget is. I know where my friends are. I know, where I could sublet here and there.
Totally.
Yeah. Doing a cruise ship right out of college was a great financial decision for me.
That's a very popular trajectory, is to do it right after college for that very reason. But like, let me tell you, folks, having a nice cushion and safety blanket when you move to the city is so important. At the end of the day, I will always say that if you're really trepidatious and you know that you are probably the one that's holding yourself back from moving here, to rip off the Band-Aid and just do it.
Do it.
However, if you have the wherewithal to be like, okay, let me make an actual plan and save up some money to do this, that is equally as good.
1,000%.
However, if the plan is just always to save up some money before I move to New York, No, give yourself a deadline, make
give
X
yourself
amount
a
of
budget.
money. Yeah.
Give yourself the number.
Because otherwise you're not doing it. But like I said, if you need someone to tell you, get over here right now.
Come on, we're waiting.
It's the city of dreams.
It's the city of dreams.
Us specifically are waiting for you.
The two of us.
And we're going to continue to wait until you get here.
And our arms are crossed.
We're
just
waiting.
for a visual.
You here yet? Hello?
Are you on the way? No, correct.
Yeah, I mean, it also just like then, I guess you kind of did like get how the city worked because you were so close in proximity to it. But also like when you're first moving here, let me tell you, it's a wake up call.
Oh my gosh. It's like my number one piece of advice whenever people are like, what's your advice about people moving to the city after college or starting life? Community. You have to find your people, girl. And they say the city will eat you up and spit you out. It will.
100%.
It will. It only will if you're alone.
Totally.
It's so easy to fall under the radar. And it's not that New Yorkers don't care. There's a lot of us, girl.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of us. We're all busy. We all have somewhere to go. We're all working. And everyone else is a tourist and we're annoyed by them.
Exactly.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is having people to know where you live, know where you're going in the day.
Yeah.
Somebody to, go to a dance class with, or somebody to like go get your groceries with.
Yeah.
Having a community, an understanding of where people are who care about you, that is what makes New York an easy transition. And it was something that it took me a while to understand that it was such a privilege.
Yeah.
Like so much of the Wagner class moved straight into Manhattan immediately. We all moved to Washington Heights. Loads of us lived within like a 3-block radius. It was literally college 2.0 for us. We were all at each other's houses. We were all still roommates. Like it was genuinely like we were living in our friends' era.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time, like years in the business, to realize like so many people are coming to these auditions alone. Yeah. So many people are living in an apartment that they're subletting from a stranger.
Exactly.
What was that?
I couldn't be me.
I would be so scared
Terrified.
to like live in New York if I was alone like that. So while you're on the way here, do what you can to get on some sort of Facebook group.
Totally.
Some sort of Instagram group, a class thread. Like that's another great way to build community. Even if it's not just about training, you can just genuinely make connections through any type of class. It could be a cooking class, a pottery class, an acting class. Yeah. Find your community because that is what's going to remind you that, yes, New York's crazy, but we're here for the dream, 100%. Girl.
Did you have a moment that kind of like clicked for you where you were like, okay, wait, no, I do feel like I am a part of the theater community?
Oh my gosh, what a great question. Oh my gosh. Okay, I actually think it was this year's Red Bucket Follies.
Okay.
So I have been in the industry working on Broadway for the last 3 years, which is super amazing.
Yeah.
But I did Emma, don't say but. I got to Broadway through a contest.
Yes, you did.
Which you may or may not know. It's kind of lore, which I love
of course it is.
A little bit.
Hit us with the lore.
So I auditioned in 2019 for something called The Search for Roxie. They were looking for the next Roxie Hart on Broadway, and a professor of mine emailed me the search and was like, you should definitely submit for this. Like, this is your thing, girl. And I was like, you're so right. Michelle Pock, who's in Just in Time. With, in the Bobby Darin musical.
Amazing.
And so I submitted my tape. It was while I was doing Aussie Song with Ellie in the same exact studios, Champion Studios, which sadly are no longer with us.
Oh, yeah.
They're devastatingly gone. Missed them. But after I sent the audition in, I like wiped my hands and was like, whatever. If it happens, fierce. If they see me, great. If they don't, maybe they'll put my headshot in a little pile somewhere. I ended up making it into the top 10 and then into the top 3. And then they ended up choosing me. And they, expressed that I won. They posted that I won in January of 2020. And so then after the shutdown, after, the world shut down and Broadway shut down, I was kind of like, there's a very high possibility they may not honor this contract, which is super fair and very understandable.
But also,
I was
terrible time. Terrible time for all of that to happen.
I was ready. I had come to peace with if this doesn't happen, that's okay because I'm still gonna do this. Yeah. Regardless. And also, if it is happening, I wish they would send me an email.
Well, of course.
But thankfully, they ended up offering me a contract for 2 weeks playing Roxie in June of 2022. And I definitely like was welcomed into the Chicago community. They were all super excited for me. They were all like, by that time had watched my stuff and were like, oh, like you're here to work and we're really excited for that.
Amazing.
Like it's not just giving like a PR stunt, like which it was.
I
but
mean,
I also
in a way, but like still.
But the three of us, like, I mean, all 10 of us who were in the finals, like we were all like ready to work. We were like, no, we put in the money and the time and the craft. So being a part of that was really special. And then when I booked Back to the Future, I was like, okay, this feels like my first, like, I did it myself. You know, my agent sent me an audition and I did like rounds of callbacks and then they fit me in. And it was my first like audition to cast, not from a series, not from an online thing. But whenever we got to do The Outsiders, which is a new original thought, even though it's coming from a book, Back to the Future was really like a transfer from the UK. And after I had, you know, done this and created Cherry with the help of all the people who had made Cherry up until now, I was really excited about doing the Broadway Cares speeches because they scared me. Okay, now circling back to when you're in college and something is scaring you, that means you should probably do it. And not in a way that's like it's giving a panic attack. Do you know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
There's like understanding the two different fears. The fear that is like, oh, I actually don't like this. This doesn't make me feel safe and I'm good. But there's one fear that's like, I am scared of the potential that I have to be great.
That is the kicker in everything.
It's so exciting. It's horrible and amazing. And I was like, I want to do the Broadway Care speech because I feel like thinking back to the Future, the people who did the Broadway Care speeches were like, in my mind, like Broadway veterans. Like they had been not like veterans, not like old, but like they have contracts under their belt. They are union workers who have worked on Broadway and done many contracts. And they are the people like leading us in this huge fundraiser for an amazing cause that's been around for years. And so when I started doing the speech and I have this video of me being like, I did it. I did the speech and it was actually kind of good. It's going to be better tomorrow. But like I did it and I cannot believe it. And I've been doing it since we did it the last 2 weeks of when we opened because we opened during Broadway Cares fundraising, but we weren't fundraising until a little bit later because we were a little stressed about opening.
A lot going on.
But I did the last 2 weeks of that. And so now I've been doing it for like a year. And we've raised over like $500,000 for Broadway Cares at The Outsiders. And when I went to the Red Bucket Follies this year, we ended up getting 4th place of which musicals raised the most money.
Wow.
And I got to like watch all of these performances where each show gets to do a skit, which is so much fun. And I was watching my friends in Back to the Future do their skit, and I was watching a friend of mine that I had done a Joffrey Ballet summer intensive program with like years ago when I was in high school. He's in The Lion King. I'm watching him doing this piece. And I'm just like, I'm starting to cry. So I'm like, those are my friends. And like, I'm a part of this. This is Broadway and I'm in it.
Amazing.
That was my first. Oh my God.
Good.
Broadway.
I mean, you deserve it for sure. Of course. You really did. You put in the work. And also like, especially with the Roxie thing, like contest or no contest, there's also a lot of contests that happen nowadays where it's not about anything, you know?
Devastating.
So, it's like you really showed up, you did the work, and it showed, and everyone knew that.
And I was very grateful in the end that they honored that contract. Because again, they didn't have to.
For sure.
Allegedly. But my heart goes out to Miss Elise Bell. She deserves the justice that I hope she will get in her life, in her career.
I think she will.
I think so, too. There's so many people rooting for her. We're rooting for you.
We're rooting for you.
I'm personally rooting for you.
Yeah.
And I also think, like, I have hope that something will come out of this that is positive because it's Dolly. If it wasn't Dolly, I would be like, unfortunately, I'm not surprised, and this is a shitty part of the industry that is just like about press. But Dolly Parton is one of the kindest people ever.
Well, 100%.
Like the stories about her and Porter Wagner and the way that she took care of like this music that he had, and that there are so many amazing stories about the person that Dolly is.
For sure.
And if she has anything to do with that, it will be righted.
100%. I'm also just like, why did we even think about this in the first place? Like, if you would have just said that this musical has been in development for years and that people have been perfecting this role for years, nobody would have questioned that.
Correct.
It's not like you're getting more press for the Dolly part in musical.
You don't need
as if people aren't going to hear about that and want to go see that.
It's
like, y'all, come on, wise up.
The thing that people nowadays, which I love, crave, is authenticity.
Yeah.
That's it, girl. Yeah. We can see through people not being authentic in a video 100%. Within the first 10 seconds. Yeah. Right? Like, you're scrolling and they're like, I just tried this and I can't believe how good it works. Literally, you're lying.
Yeah.
Show me you're lying. Literally. Why is there an orange cart at the bottom? Don't tell me to buy your stuff. You're getting commission. Please, Rachel.
Exactly.
But if you're just honest, if you're just being so for real, we will trust you. And if they had just come out and said, we're doing this search, they're probably not going to be in this next round of workshop because we did a first right of refusal on the last time that we did the workshop. So all of these people have to come, but we promise we'll put you in eventually. You can even still leave it vague. Just be honest. Just use your words.
Totally.
Tell us how you feel. Tell us your true intentions so that we can be behind you because people want to rally. People want to be there.
For sure.
People want to be a part of the search. It is such a sick idea.
People want hope. People want to hope for things.
Hashtag HopeCore. Give it to me, Rachel, please. We need it. We need dreams. We need something to believe in. Something to know that could really, come true. And anyway, I digress and I say I have faith.
For sure.
I have faith and I really, really, really hope. I hope they follow through with her because she deserves that.
For sure. I think I've said this a couple times on here, but like, it feels like we are entering an era where like our generations are starting to like take root in the upper structures of the Broadway industry and theater industry in general. It's like the roots are planted, the people are getting in there one by one, and it's like, y'all, when we have the reins, we're going to flip it on its head. We're going to change everything. So you might as well just start letting us do it now. You might as well start letting us do it now.
Correct.
Because quite frankly, it's the theater industry, once our generations are in charge, it's going to look completely different.
100%.
It's going to be completely different.
It already is. It already is.
Well, we're starting to see it then.
Trisha Paytas' big Broadway show. That is an excellent example. They put on a Broadway show for many Broadway debuts for an internet star.
Yeah. Did you see it? I didn't get to see it.
I was there.
I really squandered the opportunity. I was like, you know what? I have to go for sure and take his one on sale. And I was like, I'm definitely going to get one eventually. No, I don't know what I was thinking.
One night only.
Yeah.
I cried. I was like so moved. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Because this sweet, sweet girl, Trish Paytas, was in love with Broadway, honors what Broadway is, what it takes to do that, and created this stunning theater piece just for the crossover of Broadway lovers and YouTubers. And like, it was unbelievable. And that is like a new era of Broadway. This like one night only type thing.
Sure.
This opportunity to perform on a Broadway stage, to have a Broadway credit in a show that is like in and out in a flash of an eye. Exhilarating.
There's no rules. Why are we pretending like there's rules?
They're literally making it up.
No, none of that.
Grow up, everybody.
Literally fucking grow up.
Please. I'm tired. It's just do me a favor. Go home and grow up.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh my God.
We made it all up.
And we did make it all up, and we're going to continue to make it all up. We're going to make it up in different ways, and we're going to make them better. Yeah. It's going to be more fun. It's going to be more silly.
It's going to be easier as well. I mean, like, so much of theater is so stressful sometimes, and then like, because it's also life, right? Like, life is also stressful, and like sometimes I have to remind myself, like, sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, hey, you're wearing a wig, and let's just let that sink.
Musical theater, not worth trauma.
It's pretend, girl.
Music, singing and dancing and playing pretend.
I love running around the theater looking at people and saying, just to remind you, I'm wearing a wig. Okay? It is not that deep what we're doing.
It's
important. They're still in the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. it's super important. The storytelling is everything, but like when it starts to become like high stress, like armpits sweating, shoulders hanging from your ears from like earrings, it's not necessary.
Like, why are we doing it?
Let's take a deep breath.
Why did we love it in the first place?
Oh, what was that?
Maybe let's remember that.
Remember that.
Whoa.
Just doing it because you love it.
Crazy.
Bring it back, girl.
Yeah.
It's everything.
It really is. It really is. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, we all want our dreams to come true, and that is so fair, and that is so valid.
And it's worth working for them.
Exactly. But at what costs are we willing to let that happen?
You have to know yourself.
And the second it infringes upon who you are, what you believe, what you love, what you value, immediate hard stop.
Go ahead and cut it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
No.
It's so not worth it. Because, like you said, going back to the reason why you do it, community, getting the thrill of playing pretend, which is amazing.
For sure.
And also maybe you're like doing something that means something to you. Like you've created this thing that has a message that is important for the community you want to share it with. Like remembering the actual, I want to say like the bare bones of why you care about the thing.
For sure.
Remembering that and then creating environments where you can like continue to rekindle that love. That's everything.
I mean, it can just be so easy to just say yes to things because, quite frankly, it's flattering and then, whatever. But I mean, very recently, I was invited through this to a press event of some sort. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, an honor. It's so interesting and whatnot. And then I was like looking at the schedule and it's like, okay, this is for like reporters and whatnot and like media outlets and stuff. And I'm like, yes, I am a media outlet in a way, but that is not what we do here.
It's not the intention.
This is for actors. I'm an actor first and foremost. Like I am not here as a news outlet for promotion or whatever. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm thrilled to support my friends and I will throw their stuff out there. Our BA to Broadway family, I will be plugging everything left and right. But like at the end of the day, Cara Rosa Petro is the one who kind of instilled this in me. It's like, if you want me to promote whatever for your show or whatever, put me in it.
Oh. Period.
Yeah.
Wait, I love that.
No, literally. And it's like, okay, yeah, but like also, what if I'm in a room with someone and no. You're going to be in many other rooms with many other people and you're not going to know when the moments are happening that are going to be the most important. You can't just say yes to everything. And I was very much like, listen, I really appreciate this. This is wicked flattering. I super appreciate it. It's just not like really what we do. It's not what we do, but like, I can't wait to see the show. I'm rooting for all of you, but like, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, wait, somebody wants me for reasons that I don't actually know. But I'll turn a blind eye to that, So it's like, you got to prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
And know what you want. Know what you want and why you want it.
Correct.
And how you're going to do it.
And if you don't know those things, that's like the most delicious part.
For sure.
About this thing.
Totally.
Is figuring it out is a part of the journey.
Exactly.
And maybe you say yes to something and the second you sit down, you're like, wow, I'm not supposed to be in here. Like you just feel it. There's something in your core and then all you have to do, listen to that and take that to the next thing.
Yeah.
Allowing each part of your journey to inform the next and always remaining true to yourself, your own artistry. That is what's going to give you the career you always dreamed of.
Exactly.
Because you're being true to you.
Yeah.
And if that means throwing a birthday party where you and your friends get together and read Legally Blonde and sing along.
Literally my dream. You pulled that right out of my brain.
Do it. Like, go ahead and cast me. I did play who did I play? I did. That's great. Nice plan. Now, can we think this through? Kate and Chutney.
Oh, the great track. Great track.
Great track.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? Someone was telling me recently, they're like, yeah, you should just do it. Like that.
Why not?
Because nobody wants to admit that they want to do it.
I'll be there.
That's what it fucking is.
I'll be there.
And I'm on my soapbox right now. You can't tell, but I'm holding my microphone even higher on top of my soapbox.
He's standing really tall. I'm
Thank
scared.
you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare.
No. Stand in your power.
No. My power is not worth intimidation. That's not what we're here for. I'm actually going to sit on the floor now.
Okay, perfect.
Now I'm sitting on the floor.
Yes.
And I feel totally fine. Yes, so grounded. And what I'm trying to say is we all love musical theater. We can get together with our friends and sing through a musical. We eat that shit up. Once again, you know why? Because we're egotistical, and that is okay.
Correct.
That is okay.
And also, I'm sorry, it's really good.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it meant to be enjoyed?
100%.
So let's enjoy it together.
Nobody else is casting me in this role right now, so I'm going to
Do
fucking
you wanna be...
do it myself.
Correct.
Boom.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
Ugh. And that's how, like, some of the greatest cabarets are born.
100%.
Like, please,
Yeah.
just go ahead and run with the things you love and then make a show out of it.
Exactly.
Why not?
Exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess it's happening. What is this month right now?
Today is
June?
May.
Nope,
We're
May.
almost June.
Almost
June.
June.
Which is really weird.
Well, you know what? Next January, the birthday reading of Legally Blonde will be
Are you an
happening.
Aquarius?
I am an Aquarius.
I'm a Libra.
Okay, that means nothing to me, but
It
I
means
really
we're meant to
appreciate
be
it.
friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Some of my best
And
friends
you know
are
what?
Aquarii.
I feel it.
Yes,
I
me
felt it this
too.
whole time, but I'll say it out loud. I feel it.
We could even do like a 3-month away. What did we? January, February, March, April. June. Okay, we could do a 6-month, a half birthday reading if you want.
I'll wait. I have the patience. I do.
You have the patience to wait for Legally Blonde? I'm itching at the thought of it.
I mean,
should we just go to Overdraw right now?
I don't want to celebrate the half birthday. You know, it's not that I don't want to do the reading. It's that I don't want to be out here saying, everybody, we're going to celebrate my half birthday. Don't
what
get
if we
me
just celebrate Legally Blonde then?
That's fine.
Let's make it that.
Totally fine.
Okay, perfect.
Love that.
I was trying to bring it into the
Yeah.
birthday. I don't really care about the half birthday thing personally,
Okay,
but I was
good.
like, let's just make a
Yeah.
celebration.
Here's the thing. My favorite thing in this world is to bring my people together in the same room.
Why not?
I love my people. I will defend my people to the death. That is core Brennan. I love to create spaces for my people to all be in the same room and having a great time with no worries about anything. That is my biggest joy in life, is being the hostess with the mostest in those situations. And
So
just,
special.
yeah, I mean, I love it. I love looking around and being like, oh my God, look at all of these people that I love
Look at all
getting
these
drunk together
chickens.
under one roof. You know, like
Yes.
this is beautiful. This is magical. And like how awesome that I get to know these people and that they bring me such joy. Love it. That
And
is
they get
it.
to love on each other too.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
When friends that haven't met before get together, and I'm like, I always knew you guys would be friends. I'm like, I always knew you guys would get along. No, truly. It's like, that is my thing. So yeah. Also, I think From BA to Broadway is evolving. I think it is going to be more of a community space. I think we are soon looking at live performances and opportunities for
Cheers.
all of the fun, awesome, talented people that I've brought on the show.
I love it.
I mean, we're in New York City. Why the hell are we not? Yeah,
Correct.
you know,
Why
for sure.
not?
Exactly.
I love that. Come on, evolution.
I mean, it's time. I think we're getting there.
That's
so
really beautiful.
yeah,
I'll be sat and I'll be listening in.
you're gonna be there, girl.
I'll be there.
You're getting the invite. You're getting the invite to be in it.
I would definitely be
Hello?
there, please.
Great. Yeah, I'm like creating a community space is like what I love. That's
It's
I eat that
everything.
up. Yeah.
It's so important. I like community is something that when you really start to have it,
Mhm.
you're like, oh my God, how sad that I lived so
Yeah.
long without this, or that I lived this period of my life
Mhm.
without it. Like, I'm not to make this about my play for like 3 seconds, but that
Please,
is
yeah,
the
go for it.
one thing that I love the most about this show is
Mhm.
it really is about community. It is about the feeling of always feeling alone.
Yeah.
Even when you're with certain people, even when you're with, the people that maybe you feel the closest to. And yet, that is what will always be there for you.
Yeah.
Especially when you can't be there for you.
100%.
And that's what I'm saying about New York. It can be really tough. It can be really hard. It can, chew you up and spit you out. But if you have somebody that's your roommate
Yeah.
who loves you, who sees you after a hard day and is like, girl, let's go downstairs. It's Margarita Monday. Let's have 2 each.
Hell yeah.
And let's yap about something that's going to bring us joy this week.
Yeah. 100%.
It's having people who really, really have your back. And it doesn't have to be in person.
Yeah.
I'm also here for this online community.
Oh, listen, I think if the pandemic taught us anything, it is that you can have so much love and nurturement over screens in that way too,
beautiful.
Like,
yeah.
I gotta say, there's so many people in my life that like I wasn't ever close to that I started getting close to by playing Among Us online during the
Among
pandemic.
Us. Oh my God, so
it was
fun.
like, and we would do that every night for like
Yes.
months. And I was like, this shit is, I love this. I love these people. I
Yeah.
never would have, who would have thought, who would have
Correct.
thought? But to this day, some people that I hold so near and dear to my heart. And, you know, I'm like, wow, a community of gamers, I guess, is something that I am now a part of. And I never thought I would be. And this is something that brings me joy.
And it means,
Sick.
it like fills a part of your heart up that you didn't know was there.
Yeah.
It's so special.
It really is.
Come on, community.
Come on, community. Listen, sometimes you don't know how much it means to you until you may lose some of it. And that is something that I don't want anyone to go through. But it is in those moments that you find the people who are ride or die will always be there for you. And those are the people that you need to hold the closest to you because they're the best.
They will always show up for you. That chosen family is thicker than blood.
Hell fucking yeah. It is. It is. And the theater people know how to do it better than any others.
Correct.
Yeah.
We push through anything and everything to be there for our friends.
And we're so fun.
We're literally so much fun.
Literally.
I mean, you were at the Baylander. That's so much fun.
What are other people doing when they're hanging out?
No, I think about it quite a lot, actually.
Like, they're just watching sports and, like, being like...
Or they're, like, sad drinking.
Yeah.
You know, because they're sad about their life. So then
how are they bonding without being absolute goons?
No.
Like, how are they actually...
I fear being the loudest person in the bar is, like, important to feeling close.
But like, how do you get to know your friends for real when you're not as obnoxious as we are, you know, when we're not like, we're going to tell you all of our problems because they're on the top of our mind and we need to feel validated in this moment, you know? How do people do that?
We are so like in touch and in tune with our emotions, and also like maybe sometimes we overshare, and that's okay.
My God, for sure.
Me on this podcast oversharing. I'm like, you know, we do that sometimes. But also I think it gives us the privilege of feeling like the full spectrum of emotions, which I like. Rob Bowman, who was the music director at Chicago for years and years and years. He's not there anymore, but he was there when I started doing my track there. And he used to be Elaine Stritch's accompanist, like her guy. Okay?
Yeah.
And he would tell me about these stories where he would come in and he would just be like down from the day. Something's happened with his family, or, you know, there was a loss or something. And he was just like super sad. And Elaine would be like, it's amazing. Congratulations, you are feeling. This is such a gift that you're getting to feel this right now. And it was when he would say it with this like big smile on his face, and it just brings me joy because it is true. Like to feel the depths of all of the spectrum of emotion. Yeah. Not many people have ever given themselves access to that. No. And maybe it could be from their upbringing. It could be from like a million things, you know, not just not being in the arty farty world.
For sure.
But it's like, what a gift it is.
It really is.
To feel the most intense love for your friends and the most intense hate for your friend's ex-boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Nothing burns brighter.
And listen, let me tell you, I've known you for an hour and a half now, but ride or die.
Or die.
Ride or fucking die.
And we ride at dawn, okay?
Yeah. And the rest of them, they're all dead to me.
Dead.
Whoever they are, they're dead to me.
They're already gone.
Great.
We don't think about them.
No. We don't. Fuck that.
No, correct.
Yeah. Wow. We're really just sharing all the wisdom there is to be shared.
That's right.
Yeah.
BA to Broadway.
It's a place to be. That's what I'm saying.
I'm obsessed. I'll be back.
Great. Oh, you're welcome back anytime.
I'm like, please, anytime you want to yap. Because I feel like I could yap about like all things theater education.
And I love that.
In the future.
That is literally what we're here to do.
Oh, God.
I mean, for the sake of now,
yes,
we've been doing this for quite a while. Do you have any other words of wisdom that you want to share and get out there? Do you have any words of wisdom to the young Emmas out there?
Oh, that's a cute idea. I think that, like, I always say, being yourself is the most important thing that you can be in this industry. And I know it's lame. I know the, like, be yourself, everyone else is taken. It's a very lame quote, but it is a quote that I genuinely live by every single day. The actual second that you try to be someone else, you lose authenticity.
Totally.
Because it's not yours.
No.
And you can see that on a stage. Yeah. You can feel that through a scene in a movie. Like, you know, the greatest actors that you love and cherish them because you know who they are.
Exactly.
And they know who they are.
Like, literally.
And I think getting to know who you are can seem a little overwhelming because it's like, well, I have to make all these decisions and I have to know. No, you don't.
No.
You can this is why I'm a huge Miley Cyrus fan.
Okay.
And she does have an album coming out on this Friday.
Oh my God. Okay.
Friday,
wow.
the 30th. I'm a huge, huge Miley Cyrus fan. One of the biggest reasons why I'm a huge fan of her is she is always evolving. She's always changing, from music style to the way she dresses to her hair. Every single thing about her changes every moment of every day.
And she doesn't give a fuck.
And she doesn't give a fuck.
No.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's this quote in a live concert that she did once that was like, the first time I ever heard it, I was like, okay, what was that? But she's like, I love myself and the way that I could bring myself to this concert today because it's different than how I thought I was going to come.
Heard.
But I can always come any way that I want, even in ways that may conflict with the way that I was yesterday. And you're like, yes, that is literally what it means.
For sure.
To be an artist, to be a free person, to be like alive.
Truly.
Like the peace of just knowing every single day you can start over.
Exactly.
Every single day you can, have yourself in an intense program and you can choose. You can choose. You know what? I'm actually going to shake this up because I feel that this is not really what I want. I feel like I'm putting a weird pressure on myself and this is what these people told me to do because this is how I presented to them. But now that I really know that I love streaming, like I love gaming, like I kind of want to just be a gamer. Boom, girl.
Are you a gamer?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is this a you thing?
No, honestly, the vlogging thing for me, I started doing the Broadway.com vlogs when we opened the show last year. And I thought it was going to kill me. I thought it was not going to be fun. And it ended up being so much fun. It ended up being like such a beautiful journal, like for me to remember not only all the stuff that we went through like in our contract, but also just like how I was feeling. Yeah. What I was learning in the moments, how I could highlight other parts of the Broadway like business. Like I've talked to our company manager on there. I've talked to some of our amazing like light spot ops. And it opened up this like part of little Emma that was like, this is what I love. This is what I wanted to know everything about when I was a kid, but I didn't have access to. And so now I'm like, this is all I want to do.
Oh, truly.
This is important to me and I'm going to keep doing it. And thank God I have an amazing brother who's good at editing YouTube videos. So huge win.
Heard. I love that for you.
But yeah, my end thought that I always say anytime I'm teaching a class or if somebody asks me like, what's your biggest piece of advice to someone who wants to do this for real? Is like, be yourself and always take the time to figure it out. Yeah. Always take the time to explore it and give yourself the grace to change if you want to. That's really fierce.
It's so fine. It really is.
Do it.
Yeah, no matter how minute it is, like give yourself the permission. It's fine. People change. And people can change in the matter of a moment, and that's okay.
And it's beautiful. Yeah. I love thinking about like how you would treat your best friend if they came to you asking for advice about this thing they want to change.
Of course.
You'd be like, of course, girl. Go for it. How can I support you? Yeah. Like finding ways to give yourself that same love. You'll be unstoppable.
Truly.
Unstoppable.
Truly, truly. I'll let you know when it happens, but let me tell you.
Listen,
I can't wait. Yeah.
We can work on it.
There we go.
It's all about in the mirror.
You're
wearing a wig.
You're wearing a wig. Metaphorically speaking.
Correct. Yeah. Think about it. Exactly. You're wearing a wig, girl. Take it off. It's not that deep. Wow. Yeah. We just reached a new level in here.
There we go. There we go. Everyone out there, you're wearing a wig.
Just think about it.
It's time to take it off.
And if that feels truthful to you, I encourage you to look at yourself in the mirror. Dead eyes. You're wearing a wig.
Yeah. Everyone send us your pictures of you.
In a wig.
Yeah, in a wig.
I need it.
Just in a wig. Oh my God. Absolutely iconic. Folks, get out there. Start doing the thing. We are rooting for you. We are your biggest supporters, and you can be our biggest supporters by finding us on Patreon. That is patreon.com/BA to Broadway. Your general disclaimer, we are not gatekeeping any vital information on there. We're not here to gatekeep. That's not what we're here for. That is just for fun, silly bonus content, fun stories from all of the people that I trick to being on this show with me. So get on over there. Our principal tier subscribers also get to choose the shows that Danny and I talk about every Friday. So get on over there and give us a recommendation. We'd love to chat with you. As always, you can find us on most social media platforms at BA to Broadway. Emma, where can folks find you if you want to be found?
I am on the Instagram, I am on the TikTok, and I'm on the YouTube at Emma Pittman Official.
Hell Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already established that you're going to be back here.
Oh, I'm sat. I'm in this chair again.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here this time. And until next time, folks. Bye. From BA to Broadway is created, produced, and edited by Brennan Stefanik, music by Dylan Kaufman, and cover art by Jordan Vongsithi.